Hi everyone, I'm Dana Howell. I'm a senior here at the Cambridge School of Weston, and welcome back to WeAre Leadership. Today we are joined by our first ever committee representative and peer mentor, a double combo. So we're here with Kaylee. Kaylee is a sophomore here at CSW, and she's just going to talk to you a little bit about herself. And why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Hi, I'm Kaylee. I use she, her pronouns. When I applied here and I got to hear about it, like advisory board and everything, I knew that I wanted to be like a member of the board, even if I didn't eventually become head, because that is a very coveted position.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran for member of A board my freshman year with another then freshman, Max, and we kind of ran unopposed against each other. So we have been the class of 2027 A board reps for, this is our second year. And when I came here, I just knew that I wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to make a change somehow, and that was the change. And that was the way that I was going to make it. And obviously, every new student that comes in has a peer mentor, 2 or 3. Last year I applied and I got accepted, so I became a peer mentor for this year's freshmen. Shout out to my group, I love my group. And I reapplied again, hopefully I will be accepted. I have definitely high hopes. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing what group my sister will be in, knowing that she'll be a freshman next year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So cool. You know, when it comes back to you, it's all nice. So coming into CSW, I think personally as a freshman, I wasn't really looking for leadership. I know that's shocking to hear. I wasn't looking for leadership positions. I think I didn't really know what I wanted at first. Do you think that prior, did you do revisit day?
I did do revisit day. I came in and the class that really stuck with me was my photo class with my now advisor Dee and one of my advisory mates, Zoe. And it was just a really cool experience to see the way that it was.
Yeah. And did you hear about A board from revisit day or when you got here?
I think I first heard about it at revisit day, but then there was also the whole summer and all of the 8th grade festivities that you have to do. So I got very distracted by those, but as soon as I came here and they were giving all the leadership positions and that assembly, I was like, A board is really calling to me. It was yes, community service committee and sustainability committee, they do a lot of great work, but A board was really calling to me personally.
Yeah.
And I knew that that was where I was going to run. It was A board or no elected position for me.
Did you do something like A board in the past? In a sense, have you always had that drive for change? Especially, I feel like you touched on sustainability committee and curriculum committee, and I feel like all of our boards kind of do effective work in the community. But I think I said this in Adam and Rose's episode, when you look at A board, you see the journey through change. You witness it full on, hands on, you get to see it. Is that something that's always interested you in terms of leadership and stuff like that?
Yeah, so my 8th grade year, we had these elective blocks, and that was the first year of our leadership block. It was run by the assistant head of upper division at my school, and I did that my first semester there, and I just knew that I wanted to do something almost student government related, because all of our boards and committees make up a giant student government.
Yeah.
Full of so many elected positions.
I feel like I look at A board and I like how we compare it to student government, but I did student government in middle school. I was vice president of the student government in middle school. And I think I look at A board and I look at student government, and I feel like being on A board is way more organized than just your average student government. And I think that brings me to my next question for you. You definitely have 2 strong heads of A board, and you have a day student and you have a boarding student, so you get to see a little bit of both perspectives. And as the title of their episode says, the duality of leadership. How is being a rep different from being the head of a board, and what are some misconceptions between the two roles from what you've seen in your own experience?
I think like the big difference is obviously as a rep, I'm not in the big planning stages for every meeting, so I'm not like there being like, oh yeah, like we need to talk about this in the beginning of the year. Like we need to talk about this subject in like a planning meeting. I think that's something like the heads of a board, town meeting moderator, if we have them in those meetings, and like the faculty advisors really focus on. And like one of the biggest misconceptions is that you're not doing much as a rep. I feel like even if it looks like we're just sitting there talking, like we're doing a lot of work behind the scenes. We're doing a lot of polling of people. We're like sending out surveys and
Talking to your grade.
we're talking to our grade. Like not all of our ideas come from those surveys. Like I've had people come up to me and be like, hey, like this is a topic that I'm really interested in. And while A-Board ourselves, like we can't work on that because it's not under our purview.
Yeah.
We can definitely direct it to another committee whose purview is that. Like I had a student come up to me being like, oh, we want to work on learning profiles. And so this was after we found out that curriculum committee was doing that. And I was just like, great, talk to your curriculum committee reps.
Yeah.
They're here for you.
I think you all do a great job of not taking everything on. I also like huge respect to you all because like I know like the whole behind the scenes with like the note takers during the discussion assemblies and the town meetings, and that takes some laser focus. I mean, I know you all like try to like switch off roles and stuff. Like I think whoever's doing that role has a long assembly ahead of them. You have been on A board for 2 years, and I think one thing that comes with making change is going through change as an individual, whether that be within your leadership position or just the board period. What changes have you seen A board go through, or you yourself have gone through while being on A board?
Yeah, so like the first mod or two that A-Board was meeting last year, my freshman year, I was very like, I don't know what to talk about, I don't know what to say. It was very much I needed to step into the role that I had assumed as an elected official. And I needed to really understand that I am the voice of my grade along with my co-elected official, and I can't just sit there and let things happen without representing my grade.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, I hate to say it, like, a lot of the elected officials that we have for, like, the actual government, the United States government, like, they do a lot of work to make sure that they're representing their, like, constituents. And I think we can learn from them and they can learn from us. And I really think that, like, understanding what your grade needs and what the grade that you're representing needs at that moment in time was something that I have really grown to understand. Especially like last year we were getting a lot of athletic credit questions, and I could be like listen, like we can't do that. And I appreciate you guys telling us about that, because then that means that we need to talk to somebody else about that.
Yeah.
Because obviously this is something that so many people are frustrated by. So.
Is that like, would you say that's an adversity you faced as a leader, is negotiation and understanding like what you can take on and what you can't take on?
Yeah, I feel like I really want to take on like everything that I can, and understanding that I can't do that.
Yeah.
And that I have to be able to, yes, I have to be able to prioritize the people that I'm representing, but I also need to prioritize myself.
Yeah, and
in
delegate.
some aspects.
Like,
yeah. I can't just be like the only person doing stuff out of like the representatives. Everyone has a role that they have to do, and as reps, I think that is like one of the most important things that we all need to work on, is like working in harmony with each other and not just discombobulated, each person doing their own thing.
Yeah, 100%. You have 2 leadership positions, and though one of them, I think what I've learned, I was a peer mentor for a year, and I think one thing that I learned is like, yeah, you're a peer mentor for those first 2 mods, some of mod 3, but like when people are like, oh, it stops after mod 2, I feel like it never stops, because once you build that connection with someone where you want to be involved in their growth, and you see them growing, and you're like, oh, when I met you on orientation day and I was walking you around campus, you were a completely different person, and now it's May, and you're blossoming, you're finding your way, and you see that, no pun intended, because you know May is spring.
Yeah.
Do you want us to cut that out? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And my question to you is, you have two very different leadership positions. How do you balance the two when you're in mod 1 and 2 and your A board's just kicking off and you all are thinking of projects and you're finding out what you want to do for the year, but you're also looking after freshmen and making sure that they're going to class, they're coming to their peer mentor check-ins. Like, how are you balancing that workload and making sure that you're giving 110% to everything that you're doing?
So I think being a student athlete has really prepped me for giving 110% of whatever I can give. I think like the mindset with my club team for volleyball is give 110% of what you can give. If you only have 10% to give 11%. So I always do my best to like balance out like my work-life schedule. There were some adversities with that this year, and I think we got into a good groove. We figured it out, but really recognizing that you're in A board for lunch on Mondays and you're doing peer mentor meetings on Thursdays. You only have 3 lunches to spend with friends, and you only have so much time that you can spend with those people that you really care about. Being able to like balance that and understanding like these are required meetings that I have to go to, but I can always tell my friends like, oh, I'm sorry, we can hang out at another time.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm watching over these freshmen and I'm making sure that they're settling into CSW well, and that someone isn't feeling excluded, having them understand that I am someone who they can talk to.
Yeah.
Because I am here to make sure that they settle into CSW and that they are having an amazing time, because it can be hard to do that at a new school, even if everybody else in your grade is new.
Yeah. I think that's something that, like, I think when I had the freshman group that I had, we were the snickerdoodles, by the way, and we were top tier. I feel like I'm not biased. I'm a little biased, but I think my peer mentor group, like my class of 2026 group, top group. Like, the best group ever. I mean, all my peer mentees, they have some sort of leadership position now. Like, I'm just gonna put Parker, all of them have some type of leadership position now. And I think it's like, I feel like I'm like a little mother hen, and they're like my little chicken. Did you say, oh God? That's why you're back there. And they're all like my little chickadees, and they're just like, seeing them grow up was amazing. When you look at both of your leadership positions and you find the joy that you have in both of them, I think that, this is me saying it to you, you're making change in both leadership positions. And I think that is something that a lot of people don't see, because sometimes I think when my peer mentors were James Felino and somebody else, a Taylor. We have had so many Taylors. I can't even keep track of all of them. Taylor Thomas was my peer mentor, and I think my peer mentees were definitely people that I could go back to, and I definitely would reach out to James and Taylor for advice and look to them. And I think even you, I'm 18 and you're 15, 16 years old, and I look to you for advice sometimes. I think that you have to always remember that dividing your time is hard. And I think being a student athlete who plays not one sport but 3 sports and then a club sport outside of school, you're doing great. And I think it's very impressive to see how good you're doing. And I want to ask you, before we get into some reflection questions, what is your goal? Like, your end goal for leadership here at CSW as you move into these next 2 years? Where do you see yourself being as a leader?
So my end goal is to eventually make a change, a lasting change. A board is doing a lot of lasting change right now. So even if I'm just a part of, like, last year we worked on the appropriate attire part of the handbook, and that is a lasting change that I have now made on the school. And this year with the phone policy, it's again a lasting change. Some people might not like it. Some people might not agree with what we did.
Hey, my grades have gone up since that phone policy, so thanks,
That's
A-Board.
good. That's good.
Thanks, A-Board.
But I think like those changes, they're lasting changes that I've made. And if I'm impacting somebody's life as a peer mentor in a positive way, that is a lasting change that I have made. And seeing the way that the community is growing and changing and evolving because of the impact that I am having is something that I always look for, whether that's as a peer mentor, as an A-Board rep, or like even as an athlete on the sports teams that I have been on. Those changes are just something that I always hope to make and hope to look for, are the positive changes that make our community a better and safer place for those who will come after me.
That's so cute. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. You've been in leadership positions for 2 years now, so you've experienced some things, you've gotten some advice. What is a piece of advice you would give to a future student leader at CSW that you wish you had gotten when you entered your leadership positions?
I think the biggest piece of advice I wish I had gotten was you're going to find your footing as a student leader. You're not automatically going to become like the next head of A-Board in your first year.
Unless you're Adam.
Unless you're Adam, but that's different. That's different.
Watch
He's a
his
special
episode.
person.
You'll hear the story.
But like take your time. Like you don't need to breeze through everything quickly. Like everybody says that like you don't have to be in a rush to grow up, but like in your role as a leader, any change that you make is going to impact the school somehow. And that's important to know. If you're over here, if you're getting ideas, you're making a change because you're being the voice for those people that need those ideas. And you're going to eventually take those ideas and you're going to make something of it that is going to help impact people.
Yeah, just trust the process.
Exactly.
It's a long ride, but you'll get there.
You have 4 years here.
4 years of 9 months.
Seriously. That's 36 months.
Yeah. Quick math.
24 mods.
Quick math.
And
100 something days. Something plus 100 days.
100 and something days times 4. You got at least 500 days.
Put like a little chalkboard with the math of your CSW timeline, and that's how much time you have to make change.
I haven't even finished.
You're not finished
my 11th
yet.
I'm not finished with my sophomore year.
Absolutely
and there's still
not.
so much that I can learn.
And you can make a lot happen in, how much we got, like 7 weeks left?
We got like 7 weeks.
7 weeks left. Wow. Time's flying. This is a leadership podcast. As you know, you've seen my emails. Watch the episodes. Who is a student leader that you feel doesn't get as much attention as they should, or you feel goes unrecognized and deserves a little bit of love and recognition?
That's a great question.
I know there's so many of us.
There's so many. I feel like all of the elected reps for J-Board,
Yeah.
they are elected. They do so much work that they aren't recognized for because they are a committee that you're like supposed to not talk about.
Yeah. They're like, I have friends on J-Board, and I'm like, I would interview you about J-Board, but like, what am I supposed to ask you?
Exactly.
You can't tell me.
You can't tell me. You can't tell me what's going on.
They're like Secret Service.
Exactly. They're like the secret judges of our community. And
we should call them that instead, like the secret judges
of the CSW community. Yeah.
Aaron Hirsch, take note.
But like all of the J-Board reps, like we don't hear from them at class meetings.
Mm-hmm.
If you're hearing from a board or a committee, it's sustainability committee, community service, A-Board. Like, I feel like there's definitely a board, a sustainability committee.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many boards and committees that we have that do so much great work. And J-Board is the one board that we don't hear from consistently.
Yeah.
And I think they're doing so much great work to help keep our community accountable.
I love that. Who is someone that I should have on my podcast?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think if you haven't had them yet, the co-heads of Idea Committee, MJ and Janila, they do so much great work.
The dynamic duo.
Dynamic duo right there. I was so impressed by Social Justice Day.
Shout out to them. Social Justice Day was amazing.
It was amazing. I had so much fun at my workshops. They do so much great work, and this is like their, like, Bobby will always come up about Revisit Day. Like, the athletics have all their games, admissions. We have our Revisit Day, and I feel like for Idea Committee and Sustainability Committee, their days are Social Justice Day and Earth Day.
Yeah.
And they did such a great job the past 2 years that I've been here. I can't speak for before that, but they have done amazing.
They've definitely improved the flow of both days since my freshman year, because I remember my freshman year, Social Justice Day, I don't remember the exact topic, but I know we didn't do workshops. We had a lot of different keynote speakers, and I want to say we were in the assembly hall from the time assembly started, and then we had a break for lunch, and then we went right back in there, and it was really hot. So I think shout out to the co-heads for Idea Committee that we've had since my freshman year that have made that better and incorporated the workshops and made it more hands-on. Earth Day's always been fun. I love learning. Like, I just came from water chemistry, and it was so much fun. I got to make a little water filter to clean the water for the lake by Aaron's house. That water's dirty, but it's clean now. I cleaned it. I fixed it. I didn't fix the lake, but I fixed that little beaker of water I had.
Yeah. I came from DIY skincare and homemade body scrubs.
Shout out D.
Shout out D, who's also my advisor.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely adore D. And we made a body scrub, and mine has lavender, vanilla, and sweet orange scent.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I'm just like very excited. Like, this is not something that I would have expected to do, and I'm glad that I was able to do it. There was wax printing on the list of stuff that you could do.
Bird watching,
sounded
environmental history with Rachel Hirsch, like a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Ooh, I would like to say, as somebody who is always excited by the updates, the A-Board Instagram, which is not technically affiliated with CSW,
Y'all have an Instagram?
We do have an Instagram.
Y'all post on it?
We do post on it sometimes.
Follow the A-Board Instagram.
I'll make sure to get the username to Dana. And of course, like, all of, like, the social media accounts for the sports that I'm on,
Yeah, follow
CSW Girls Varsity Volleyball.
Yeah, support Girls Varsity Volleyball. Support CSW Track. If you find our spam account, you find it, but
good luck with that one.
Have fun with it.
Track meet today. Track meet today. Today is Wednesday, the 23rd.
It's against Worcester, and hopefully the next time I film, we did good. Thanks, Josh.
I'm manifesting it.
I'm manifesting some good times today. Yeah. With that, I want to plug that it is spring election season, and to kick off Mod 6, we will be having elections for Board of Trustees reps. So sign those petitions, run, and make change. Yeah.
Make a change.
And run.
Everybody can make a change.
Yeah. And if you don't run for a head position and you're really interested in leadership, you could be a rep. And I feel like Kaylee is an amazing person to talk to about that. And I'm so glad that I got to have you on my podcast.
Thank you.
And so people could hear about your drive for change. Thank you for watching episode. I'm finding it. Episode 7 or 8.
So close. 8 is my lucky number.
Episode
it's okay.
7 of WeAre Leadership, and I hope to see you all on the next episode. And stay tuned for episode 10. Thank you.